must be thinking, how am I so courageous and extrovert that I have the power to stand here and speak before you all? This is the usual first impression that I tend to make whenever I speak publicly. But guys, I was not always like this. I've had my fair share of awkward moments and negative feedbacks to get to this stage of my life. So let's take a look at my journey from an awkward introvert to an unapologetic extrovert and my path of finding my passion and personality. To understand this, let us go back to the time when I was just a child. I was like just any other kid, unaware of the judgment and looks that is being passed on when I'm doing any activities. I used to dance to the beat of the rains and sing along to the rhythm of the roadside hawkers. Talking to strangers was my favorite pastime, and making friends one of my natural abilities. To sum it all up, I have just introduced you to the real Avilipsa. But when the years passed, I started to lose myself. My usual brightness was nullified. My true self was dulled. That time I realized that I was actually prioritizing world's insight of myself over my own insights. So I lost my innocence at that time and I was a very awkward introvert. I started to lose my speaking abilities. And that time I realized that this is not who I am, but I have to be. The usual extrovert was gone, and what little was left was dulled by what we call as the canon event of every girl's life periods. I was hit by my puberty, both literally and figuratively. What people usually dismiss as a mere monthly phenomena, the mere monthly phenomena caused turmoil over my emotional well being. My body changes made me so insecure that I preferred being locked in my room. I started to distance myself from my friends and family, thinking that they won't get what I'm going through, or simply because I was too scared to ask for help, as I saw it as a sign of weakness. But I was anything but a weak person. As we all believe, universe has a very messed up sense of humor, so that's when it decided to play with me. Unfortunately, it was the time of the lockdown when I had my first menarche. It was like being locked in a cubicle where you're not just locked inside a room, but you're trapped inside your own minds. I was insecure about everything you are possibly seeing in me right now, from my bouncy curls to my subtle gain of weight. I was so deep in self pity that it was even hard for me to look into the mirror. At that time, I thought of my parents as my ultimate enemy, failing to realize that they are just trying to look out for me. Amidst all this chaos, I lost the person I once was, and I started to believe that maybe this awkward person is who I was meant to be. But for there's light after every darkness. The lockdown got over. I moved places. I saw it as an opportunity to rediscover myself and be the person who I once was. But the journey wasn't easy. I was critically aware about myself. I feared judgment. Every insight I can see, every comment that I can't hear restricted me from being the person I am. And the abilities of making friends has just disappeared. At that point, I realized that this is not the person I recognize anymore. This is not me. And at that time, realization struck me like a truck that from when did I start to care what the world thinks of me? It was not an egoistic approach, but a way to self preservation. I started to value my insights and work on my insecurities, not for the world, but for me. For instance, being chubby or gaining weight is not a negative thing at all. But if it impacted my insights about me in a negative way, then it had to be changed. Not for the sake of the world, but for the sake of me. When I started to realize that, I slowly figured out the real problem that had clawed its paws into me. The real problem was just a question that what would the world think? And my friends, trust me when I tell you this. This is the hardest yet the easiest question you'd ever come across. The answer simply to this question is who cares what the world would think? Life is too short to consider it anyway. You are the one who live your lives. Your insights and thoughts are the actual thing that matters. Many people would say a lot of things, but they aren't the one living this life. You have to lead it. When I reshaped my insights about myself, I discovered my passion, that is public speaking. I found my best friend, that is this microphone. And so here I stand, not to impress anybody, but to express myself. And the bottom line is, I am still the girl who dances to the beats of the rain and sings along to the rhythm of the roadside hawkers. And this time, my insights had made it very clear that this is who I am, and this was who I was meant to be. Thank you guys, you've been a lovely audience.